righty, I think we are good to go. Hope you guys are doing pretty good. I am going to be starting here in Moho. I'm just making sure everything's working, and I need to bring up my chat there. And as far as I know, everything is good. And I wrote in Moo, I meant Moho. So no one's going to go check out a Moo video probably unless they're into cows. So I fixed it. Anyway, yeah, I know I start a lot of characters, but I do finish them and I do use them. As a matter of fact, first day of winter is going well. We've got about 5 or so shots now, maybe 6. And I'm going to be doing the last few and getting it out like ASAP. So that's always good news. I'm going to move my camera around here so that I know what's happening. I don't want it to get in you guys' way. So I'm going to just make it a little bit smaller. No one see my big old head. And that should be fine mostly there unless something happens and I can just switch it off like so or back on and we're good. Just try to help me remember. You guys say something to me like, hey, Sean, can't see your screen. That never hurts. All right. So with that, let me just, I'm trying to adjust a few things to see, who's watching and all the good stuff. And if you are, say hey and all that. All right. So anyway, I'm just going to start on a little character. I'm going to do a little sketch first. I guess so. And I drew this knight character, was working on before, and I absolutely just hate it. So I figured I was going to do something else. So I'm going to do something really simple, just something super kind of, and I'm just playing here to figure out what it's going to be. And I don't completely know, but I figure, if I can work out some type of shape that makes sense, then maybe I can do something with that. Just playing, And if you guys have any comments, questions, criticisms, take them somewhere else. No, I'm kidding. Just let me know. Say hey. Stream's a little slow tonight. Totally all right, though. Oops, let's just go here, delete those guys. I'll move these around just to helps if you select everything, doesn't it? It's very much like any other vector software, Illustrator or whatever. And yeah, it really sucked though trying to use this without the pressure sensitivity, because any kind of sketching I'd have to go somewhere else, So I'm just trying to get a little idea of maybe what I would want to include here. Maybe he's a some kind of knight hero looking guy, but maybe not full armor. I want to make a big but low head. That's like too tall, I think. I just kind of want to make it real low. Maybe do kind of a little keyhole opening the mask here, something like that. Just want to make it kind of funny, I guess, and cute. Let me just try to get this a little more readable. Just clean up a little here and there. Don't know exactly what is what just yet, but something as simple as I can, because I think it'll look better, and I think that for one, it'll go pretty easy, right? We hope. Something like that's kind of cool. I'm trying to figure out, like a good silhouette, if that makes sense. Maybe he is more along, kind of like these lines, with the helmet, kind of like this, with his arms kind of, maybe he should have a little more, something along those lines. Maybe I get rid of this cross belt because he's looking a bit like a fencer or something. I mean, that's pretty cool, I think. Yeah, so yeah, lots of projects in the works, lots of things trying to be finished up, if you can believe it. I try all the time, but when do I succeed in doing that? It just depends. So I think that's kind of interesting. I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of this other section here and probably knock this down now, since I've got a little idea going. I'm going to sketch a more solidified, closer to the end kind of version of it now. So we'll agree with that setting and make a new layer. This will be like sketch 2. Oops, I made an action, not a layer. So let's go ahead and make a new layer here. Have to do this on frame 0 though, buddy. And so the action creation and the vector layer and the layer creation button are almost the same. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of, once again with my draw tool, get a more refined kind of sketch of him using just a little bit better lines. Yeah, something a bit more like that, maybe. Even that's probably too much detail. For something like this, I should say. Give him pretty short arms. Very simple, like I said, to draw. I'm just trying to minimize, the kind of like the time, but maximize, how it'll look and play, be seen. So I think just a little curve here for the thumb, maybe like this kind of thing. Mitten hands. And I think on this one, I'm actually going to flip that one because I do like that one better. So I'm going to cancel, copy, paste. Flip it good. Stick it over here so we have two of the same essentially. And now back into drawing. Something just like that. Maybe a tiny separation there. The boots, probably something pretty simple. Just like, I like that style I did there. Kind of got kind of a dwarfy kind of vibe. Maybe he's got some knee armor. I don't know if that's going to even show. Got a new driver for my keyboard downloaded. Maybe it'll work the whole time tonight. You never know. So kind of like so. Come on, Sean. Yeah, I don't really want him to have personality to the fact that, he can take off his helmet here. I think this character should probably be helmeted all the time because he's like a faceless knight, soldier. And either you play him or you fight him. I'm not really sure yet. So I think that's okay. I'm going to draw just a little sword idea here. Something just to get the point across in the style of non-realistic but cute. Maybe. Little shield maybe, for that. This will all be sketched much, much better. You're like, it better be. Right? Okay. I mean, basics, it's okay. I think the shoulders should be different or bigger. So I'm thinking, let's do them bigger. I'm going to erase them instead of trying to size them up because got a lot of overlapping points here. Just going to pull that out. And draw them again. If you guys are watching, say hello. I can't see if you're watching, but maybe something like this size. About. I'll double this one over when I do the actual drawing. I just want it to be kind of silly, Might put a little crest here somehow, some way, somewhere. Superman. Yeah, that's not horrible, I guess. We could give him a little, like so. Doesn't hurt. I think overall that's pretty good. No horns, and people didn't wear horns, but I mean this is fantasy, so it doesn't matter. But people actually did not wear horns because they too easy to catch on everything, and all you have, it makes your head a bigger target. So they didn't actually do that. But so people think a lot of that Vikings had horns, and well, I hate to break it to you. So he doesn't need super detail. I mean, when he's sideways, he'll have probably elbows, something like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring up our layer dialogue here and knock this down to about 20% again. I'm going to delete the sketch prior to this one. Something like that. We'll say okay. This other one will now get trashed. And we'll go with a new layer over the top of this, and we'll call this, head, because this will be the actual head drawing. We're going to start with our point tool here. I am going to put in autofill, trying to make this, as light a work of this as possible. And we got a gray color, so we're already ready to go. Here we go. Let's just undo that. And I'm probably going to move this to the larger monitor so I can see a little bit better. So just bear with me as I swap these out. Excuse me while I whip this out. And I'm just going to get my other stuff here swapped over, and then I'll swap this over to my main monitor. Cool. So yeah, quit looking at my icons. All right, I'm gonna put this there for the moment. Should be all right. It's just a little easier to go in when I'm using the add points tool to just put it on the bigger monitor because that's where I see better anyway. So if you guys have anything to say, let me know. I'm going to actually put on my glasses for once. Let's get the head going because I actually have that lined up to do so. You guys are probably thinking, he's never going to do another Moho tutorial. He keeps doing that stupid plasticity thing. I love plasticity. I love Blender. I love 3D in general. So, but I will always work in Moho. I've got stuff I want to finish really badly. Projects, actual animations and stuff. Plus, I've got some stuff coming up work-wise, to do some animations for. Plus, like I said, this guy, not sure if he is going to be for a game or an animation, but it could be both. All right, so I'm going to change this stroke because right now it looks like he's made of fur. So we're just going to come in here and give him a standard style on this stroke. Let me select his shape to do that though. So I'm going to go here and just give him none for the moment. We'll say okay and good. And now his insides, I don't think I want to put eyes. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm leaning to just darkness in there. So I think for the moment, I am just going to draw a black square on the head layer, like right here. What am I doing? Not a square. I'm going to go ahead and use a add points tool here and just get this about right through here. Something like this to make kind of a blocker, a mask for this guy. And then we can take that, make it black for one, turn the stroke off of it, make it black or whatever, do dark gray, and then drop it behind the other layer. So all that's selected into draw, we'll just put this lower to back. So now it will be inside like that. I think that's a cooler looking dude than the last one anyway. So I'm going to go in here and adjust my curves, of course, because this roundness shouldn't be at least as round as it is. Shouldn't be really round at all in real life, but this ain't real life. We don't need no stinking badges. Okay. Vestiges. Good old Johnny Dangerously, but nobody remembers that. All right, let's just get this one a little bit more sharpened as well. So that's looking pretty good. All right, so I think let's go with the torso. It's got a big barrel torso. I just want the legs to be almost, insignificant, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and make a new layer for that. This will be torso. It's going to be under the head, though. Got to come up with a name with this for this dude or the game or whatever it's going to be. And I think for the torso, I'm going to do an underbody just that goes across through here, just so we can see that behind the breastplate here when we get all that together. And let's go ahead and change this to our gray color that we're already using. Right here. Okay. We can straighten out our points a little bit to not look so awful. All right. So that's going to be an underlayer. So this should be kind of a chainmail vibe, I guess, but I don't necessarily want to draw a bunch of chainmail. So I think for now, I'm just going to make this a little darker gray. And then we'll come back to it. Because remember, This is all super simple stuff right now, and probably will continue to be in this regard for this character. So that's going to be the undershirt, basically. And then we're going to do the armor over the top of this, probably in a separate layer. So let's go ahead and do another one. This one will actually be breastplate. We'll put this all in a group called torso. I'm going to make this visible by taking our sketch and putting it on the top so we could see it like that right through everything. And so now with this breastplate, I'm going to go ahead and just come in here and give it a whirl. I'm going to make it just a bit below this belt so that we can hide the bottom edge if we have to. And that was below the belt. And this is just going to come up like so. 3 or 4 points here. And then I'll just bring it up because if he turns, you know, obviously when he turns, we'll need some kind of cover for that. I'm going to go ahead and select this now and give this the color of the helmet to start with. He might get a little shading. I'm going to try and go with none or very, very, very little as possible. So if you guys are watching, say hello. There is a chat there. Feel free to use it with each other and myself. I'm going to put this as the sketch. I've got that on top so that it will be able to be seen the whole time, and it is see-through. So now we have this going. We can make the lower part of the body. Let's go ahead and make the legs. So we have the breastplate, the torso. I'm going to group those together. We're going to call this torso. Okay, we've got head. Didn't sound right. We're going to go ahead and do the arm, or the legs now. And I'm going to make these separate. So underneath the torso, we're going to make a new layer and then pull it under there. You can't make one under it, so you have to put one under it, not inside of it. We're going to go leg right. I'm just going to make these pretty freaking simple. It'd be kind of funny if these legs didn't even bend. I think it would be hilarious. So I'm going to go with a square. And I'm just going to go, you know, because we can shape them, but it'd be funny if they didn't even bend. I don't know if that's how I'm going to go, but, you know, it's a way. It's something to think about. So I'm just going to grab that, pull these pretty close to where they're going to be. Something like this. We can add in a few more points to give a little more form to it, just to be safe on the turning of it and stuff like that too. And it looks like our stroke and color did not carry over. So I'm going to take this fill here for now and also turn the stroke on there. All right, so there's leg R, and I'm going to take that, duplicate that layer. This is the simplest character I think I've ever made. We're going to call this leg L, of course. And we're going to take this layer and flip it, okay, and put it approximately, you know, 180 across like that. Cool. Now we need to make a belt. So we're going to go with a new layer again. This one is going to be called belt, if you can believe that. And that one needs to go on top of the torso layer, not in it, but on top. That way we can move it around separately if and when we need to. So I'm just going to start over here. It's obviously not going to be gray like the others. One of these things is, yeah, not like the other. Yep, I'm just going to kind of make it stick out a little bit there. Maybe. Depends on how I'm feeling later. Like so. Stick out maybe just a little bit. And one in the middle and one there. Then we will do our corners, our curvature, our sharpening, as it were. You know what I'm saying? And then that one more sharp and this one more sharp. Whoops. Like this. Adjust them around a little. So who's working on what? That's what I want to know. You guys have any work to show? I'd like to see it. You have any characters you're in development on? Do you have any special kind of cookies you like to eat? Whatever, just let me know. I do, but I am just limiting myself. I'm not going to eat them because, man, golden Oreos are the devil, and I will literally sit there and I will eat the whole pack. I don't even care. I do. That's why I'm not eating them right now. They're amazing. So I got to stay away because I'm trying to be, healthy. I'm trying to put myself on a little workout program. And did I work out today? Did I get on the bike?
I don't think so.
Yeah, see, I've got this really expensive, what do you call it? Elliptical machine that was given to me for free. We found it on the side of the road, and the people that had thrown it out were like, "Hey, take it." So we're like, "Okay." Looked it up. It's like $1,500 or more. I'm cool with that. All right, so this is going to be our belt, and now this is going to get new color and so forth. So we're going to give this kind of a brown standard, kind of brown for now, color, and we already have our whatever. So this, like I said, he's a funny little dude. I'm going to try and make him as simple as possible, cute as possible too, for the style that he is. So I'm going to make a buckle layer now. Buckle. More than likely, I'm probably going to make this belt. I don't know. I'll leave it in one piece because when he turns, we're not going to have so much detail. This is going to need to be broken up. So I'm just talking out loud. Don't mind me. I'm going to go ahead and make a buckle that's not a perfect circle by any means. Something like this. Let's go ahead and give it the stroke it deserves. Somebody probably said that about me about a year ago. I'm going to put this on a little bit more of a gold color. Maybe. We don't know who this guy is. We don't know if he's a cowboy with those big ugly buckles. I mean, we don't know. Now, this is going to be more for, like, say he's a knight or something. He's got a little bit of cash, maybe. You never know. You don't know him. And cool. And I think that is just going to be, where did my stroke go? Need to take that stroke, and we're going to go to the create. We're going to make this, I think, just a stroke. And I thought you could cut holes. I'm trying to remember how to do that. Create shape. And I thought if you grabbed this one and this one, like so, and you could go both, and then you could say create shape, and I think it makes that outer shape only. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let's see. There is that. There is this. No, it doesn't do that way, at least. So it's quite possible that we had to have this all two separate strokes to start with, which I can do. So I'm just going to go with the old strokes there. You can see we're going to take that one and this one, and there you go. So now we're going to go create shape, and there we go. That's what I was looking for. Yep. And if you guys didn't know how to do that, just roll back and look. Okay. Looks like I got lucky. Okay. So I'm just going to make a tiny little piece that's sort of denotes his buckle, little spike here. And I'm going to I'm going to fix the curvature on this. It's a little too bubbly in my opinion. Just go down a little more with it. And with this a little more. And this one too. All right. So you guys seen that show Paradise? I recommend watching that. Okay, we'll leave that almost. It's a little too perfect for me right now, but we'll come back and tweak it some. And so now let's give this guy some shoes. I'm going to make him in two parts, I think, because I want him to be able to turn his foot, and this is a really easy way to do that. We might use the liquid shapes. Like every time I say that, I get myself in a corner, but let's go ahead and do it. I'm just going to go with shoe. So this will be, and this has to be in front of the legs. So I'm just going to put shoe or boot. Let's go boot. That's more tough. I'm going to just leave it where it's at. This is going to be boot R, and we're just going to come down like so. Give it a few points. This is for the kind of the front section of it. Once again, we can adjust our points as we go. That is the wrong color, obviously, so we're just going to pop back in. Give us something a little more dark gray-ish. It could be brown. We don't know. That looks okay to me, though. And we're going to do this as a liquid shape. So there's going to be a piece that acts as the heel. But you know, I don't think that's true. This time, we're not going to do a liquid shape. I'm going to actually make a back separate piece of the boot so that we can move the front opposed to the back, which is just simply smart. We'll call this boot back right. Okay, so that goes behind the boot, and we're going to draw just kind of like a smooth rectangle kind of shape here. So it's going to go from here, kind of like this. Just a little, you know, this, it may or may not be good for it. We'll decide shortly what's going to happen with this, but I'm going to straighten this up a little bit more, you know, less goofy edges here. I'm also going to get rid of that point, and I'm not sure that I need all these points anyway. Probably leave that one here. Something like that. And then now I want to put this behind the leg also, because that is going to be, yeah, hidden away like so. And then on that front boot piece, we're just going to get rid of, let's find the boot. I'm just going to get rid of this line, I think, and kind of tuck those a little more together. So it looks like, you know, the front of that boot, kind of like so. Yep, that kind of works. And I'm going to make a little sole separation here. Separate the sole from the body. And I'm going to then, sound like I have Tourette's, I know. Not that. There we go. Thin this out a bit. Guess I could have selected the whole line, but who does that? I mean, plus it gives me the opportunity to make this a little more, you know, irregular on purpose. You have to say on purpose, otherwise people think you just screwed up. All right, so that looks good. We'll move these around, and I'll duplicate this boot over to the other side. Right now you're saying he's not wrong. Okay, that's looking okay now. I think, though, and I want one more point or something to kind of give this a little more. Well, that's probably okay. It's probably okay. Okay, I'm going to thin this out, this one with it. I think that looks pretty good. I'll believe that is a boot to some degree. And doesn't look overly drawn, which is something else I'm really trying to avoid. Too much detail, too much, you know, everything. So with this boot right, we're going to duplicate that layer. And this will be boot left. not going to get into the super details or anything tonight. You guys are lucky. I'll spare you. Always want to make sure you try to do an origin for your layers. And we're going to flip that and then grab this guy and whoops, and grab the layer and pull that over. And then do the same thing. Then do the same thing for this boot back. I'm going to duplicate that layer and boot back L. And once we have that, we can flip it. And I will move it over as a layer to where it looks, you know, similar. And then we can grab the boot back correct and the boot left. Oops, just those. Hold control to select them. And then I can move those over. What the heck? Then I can, it isn't grabbing both of them. That's interesting. Oh, that's because I have that one selected as points. Of course I do. So boot layer and boot back layer. Left. There we go. What a pain. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. Now for the arms. So in front of the chest, in front of the belt, in front of the buckle, probably in front of the boots, and not above, well, yeah, above the head even, I think, for this particular guy. I'm going to make a new layer for the upright arm here. So vector, and we're going to call this arm upper right. And let's get this show on the road. So this, once again, is going to be a single piece, I think, that I am going to put enough resolution in the points, at least, to where we get a little bend out of it. I'm going to pull this down like so, something like that. Go into our curvature and try to manage it slightly. If you guys are watching, hey, DYT, ETT. I want to love you, DTT. Just kidding. I don't even know you. Okay, so let's do something like this. All right, I think that's working fine. Let's go ahead and I think we're going to leave this dark because it's going to be whatever the color the chainmail is going to be. So let's just grab our chainmail color for this. And I'm going to, there we go. We're going to select and grab from here. So now we have, you know, a chunky looking arm here. Let's try to at least get it a little bit better looking before I flip it over to everything else. I am thinking though, I'm just going to leave it like this, right where it's at. And then I'm going to, you know, this is all going to be over the top of it. So it's okay. This is a real simple character. So judge me not. It's on purpose. So arm upper right, we're going to go here and go with a, let's not flip it yet because I might change it. Let's go ahead and do the shoulder. So vector, we're going to go shoulder, which is actually he's wearing a pauldron. Shoulder, R, okay? And let's go ahead and sketch out or draw out this guy. And if it's bigger than it should be, that's totally cool because I think it might be funny if he has huge shoulders. I really don't know yet if they should be in front of the helmet or not. They're kind of funny that they are, but I think they might need to be behind it. So I'm going to try it both ways, but let's see if this was, whoops, a little too low. If this was behind the head, and then the arm, of course, also was behind the shoulder, that might be better. So let's just stick with that for now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to have to figure that out because I'm thinking, I look at it this way and that way. I think it's just going to change as these move. There might be just too big also. So let me play with this a little bit. They could, they could, let's see. I think they're okay like that. You know, that isn't too bad. So let me change the color of this one. Cool. That'll work. And then of course we need our little gauntlet here. That's going to go on top of all of that. And it will eventually probably definitely go on top of the shoulder here. So let's do that. If he puts his hand in front of his head, we'll have to also, you know, put it up above that too. But we can do that in layer sorting, animating the layer order later. So gauntlet, right. And right now I'm going to make this one piece because these could be switch layers very easily. I'm just going to make a few points for this. I'm going to do the hand first. Like that, and then I'll come back and do the thumb, because the thumb is not going to be a separate piece. It's going to be a separate bit here within the layer, but it's not going to be literally a separate moving part though, as far as jointed and, you know, on its own layer, etc. But what I am going to do is come in, of course, and hide some of these edges so that we've got this going on. And if we wanted to, we could even unhide this one and just sort of squeeze the end of it down, and this one too, to give that a better vibe. So now this gauntlet here, actually the whole arm now that I think about it. So the shoulder, the gauntlet, and the arm upper, those are all going to duplicate, and I'm going to have to eventually do some magic with those. But with those layers selected, kapow, we're going to flip them like this, and I'm going to try not to do what I just did and put those in place somewhat right, something like this. All right, so there is the main body. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the sketch so I can just be done with it. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and delete it because it'll never be used again. And it's just a bunch of lines I don't want to worry about. So as far as the sword and stuff, I'll just go in and make another one. So let's do that. I'm just going to make a square. That is really not a square. Let's make a square, something like this. I like the chunky stuff for something like this. And then we're going to make one extra point here, right here. And that's going to be a sharp point. So Control P. And now we'll make the rest of the story. The guard here is going to be in our style. Let's change this to kind of a goldish kind of feeling. Like that. I will have to put a stroke on the what you call it as well, the sword blade. I'm just gonna go this far. That probably is linked. It didn't really mean for it to be, so I'm gonna check here. Yep. So let's just do this slightly under. I'm gonna do 3 just to annoy myself later, which is always fun. If you know me, I just love being annoyed. All right, so we're gonna go like this. Link that. I do not have auto weld on. Oh yeah, I do, but it didn't. So I'm just gonna grab this and move it. Make sure that we are, what do you call it? Well, we gotta wait for it real quick. Who's watching? If you are watching, say hello. Ask me some questions. I am here, so please do that. Okay, let's undo what I just did, whatever it was. Let me get rid of that point. Cool, and I'm going to fix our corners, our curvature. This one can be Control P'd. Okay, something like that, I guess. Make this a little more robust. And now I'm going to take this layer or this piece, grab him, and I'm going to duplicate that, grab its edges. You know, once Moho catches up, hopefully not going to crash. It happens. And it's being a little laggy. Might be because I'm recording. You know, that does happen. Come on, Moho. And of course, I haven't saved. You know, of course. It's not letting me do anything. I'm gonna come over here. It's still not letting me do anything. Scary. So who's watching? Let me know. Looks like we're getting decent views. Which is always nice. Come on, Moho. Don't fail me now. Yay. Live streams. Only in a live stream, folks. That's when things do this. I'm taking an image just here in case we get the good old crash happening. Which I'm thinking we are. I've not seen anything pop back out. I can't escape. It's not my favorite thing in the world. Yay. Let's go look and say, hey, I don't know why I'm making a lamp though, but you know, we'll just pull that down. That was from earlier. I had a thing go on. I was doing another tutorial. Yeah, look at this. Frozen. We're good. This far. I can do nothing. And I don't think it's coming back. So that very well may be a loss, which would not be great. Would not be great. And if so, well, I'll have to remake him again because last I checked, Moho didn't just 1,000% save. It did save. It does save though. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill it while you guys aren't having to watch it. Pay no attention to any of the icons back there. We'll reopen, see what happens. It gives me trouble sometimes. I mean, Moho's wonderful software, though. And it asks me if I want to recover, which is always good. And we do have it recovered, so that's good. We'll just give it a restart. And now I'm going to jump back to my monitor here before I forget. And you guys are just looking at my ugly face the whole time. And all I wanted to do here was to flip, duplicate this piece. So I'm just going to copy and paste that in, and then flip that piece to where we had two of them, like so. And then we can come in here and join them up or whatever we want to do. I don't know that I can join them, can I? That'd be cool. Let's delete an edge and find out. There we go. Now I can just auto weld these points together. Let's just only select single points though. That'd probably be best. And we'll go zip, pop, and zip, pop. And then now we can fill this back in with our lovely color. We just remake the shape. And we're going to say both. Let's go with both. And we're going to, well, we could just fill it because we already have a stroke. I don't know if it works that way. So let's go ahead and say create. And I'm going to make sure we don't have two strokes, which I'm thinking we might. So maybe not. Okay, works for me. I just don't like it when I select the shape and it only selects this part, because that tells me there's something going on that shouldn't be. So let me just kind of poke around a little bit. Let me turn the stroke off for this one. You can see it still has the stroke. So I'm going to turn on the fill for this one. So whatever this is what needs to be deleted. So I'm going to go in here and delete that one and hopefully turn on our others. Nope, can't do that. So there is a separate one of these guys in here that I do want to get rid of. I'm going to go back to this. We'll turn that off. We'll turn this off. You can see this is still here though. So somewhere along the line, I do have that still in here. I'll just find it. I think it is on that layer though, which is weird. It does happen sometimes to where it takes a stroke and does it as a shape, which is really weird. So this is, see, this one is saying that it's there. So now it's saying it's not. See, there it is. And there it is. And I should be able to turn the others back on. No, I can't. Yeah, weird, right? So let's turn off that for this one. I just don't know what's happening here now, do I? So we have that one. We have this one. We're going to turn on our fills, which we can't. That is so strange. I'm going to grab them this way, though. And I'm going to come back over to the shapes. See, that's a completely separate shape. That's so strange. I don't know how that works. So I'm going to let go. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to get rid of these shapes. We're going to go back here. We should have a stroke, which we do, and everything's good now. So this one and this one are one. And now we can fill it in. Wow. I'm just finding all the bugs tonight. So now we're going to go with both. We're going to say create, and everybody's happy. Cool. Okay, so this is all on the same layer. Unfortunately, I am putting it on the, looks like I'm putting on the head layer. So what we'll do is just grab this stroke and this one, and we'll go edit, cut, and we'll make a new layer. Vector, and we'll call this one sword. And paste those right back on. So now we can move that around. As a separate piece, I'm going to go back to that sword blade now. And we're going to give that shape. We're going to give that the stroke. And now we can come in here, kind of detail, you know, a little bit of this. I like to make it kind of wavy. Good. We can add noise to it, whatever you want to do. Those things always look kind of cool. I'm going to give this maybe a little bit of a line there, and maybe one coming off of that like that. And now it needs to just have a very short hilt to it. I'm going to make this piece separate, just like so. And obviously it's not going to be like that, but I'm going to make a sphere that's kind of squashed. Gosh, I keep skipping the mouse off of it. So something maybe like that. Might be too big. We shall find out. So when I grab that dude, we're going to fill this in. So let me just make sure we've got it. Turn on the fill. And then we're going to change its color, of course, to that of the hilt. Why not? That could be brown, though. But, I mean, we're never probably going to see it much if we do it all. So I'm probably going to make this a browner color, maybe the same as the belt. You know, if you were doing this for a cartoon show, you'd want to save some coloring and just make certain things the same color. Okay, so we're going to grab that dude now. We can stick it right here. That way, if we do see it, it's going to actually go behind now. So on the draw layer, grab the shape first, draw, and lower this shape with the, you got to actually grab the shape. Go, what?
Oh, sorry, I was talking to myself.
Lower that, maybe lower it once again. Maybe lower that again. I think this needs to be lowered to the back, so I'll just do that. There we go. And then now we'll take the little spherical ball for the end here. That can be gold also. I'm not sure if I should put that in front or not, but we're going to make that one the same color as well, like that. And I think that'll be fine. What do you guys think? Let me know if you're even watching. That'd be cool to know if you're watching. And I'm not sitting here just talking to myself, which I don't mind. I do it a lot. All right. So, and then we're going to take all three of these pieces. This guy, this one. We need all of those lines and so forth. I think I should just grab the shapes, but this works as well. Oh, it's already grouped. We don't have to worry about that. That's just going to be our sword. Cool. So now when we grab the layer, of course, it will move around. We need to, I'm going to put its pivot point right where the hand is. That way when it's rotated, of course, it will rotate around the hand. So, but you didn't know that. All right. And if he's going to get a shield, I'll just make a little round shield. We don't necessarily, I don't know if we're going to use that or not, but hey, it doesn't hurt to have one. It's going to be giant, huh? Just grab this, put the stroke, go ahead and change the color to like maybe a light brown on this one. Little more red to it, like that. Looks like it's the same color as the belt. Okay, so maybe a little more here, a little more, well, maybe a little more red, like I was saying. Something like mahogany. And it's so close to the belt, but I'll fix it. I'll change it. And let's make another circle here. I keep trying to remember, like I'm in plasticity, and I keep thinking this is that, and then I have to do some of this the same way. So can I duplicate the edge only? That curve, we'll see. Nope. That's going to give me a random line width. So yeah. I'm gonna duplicate this guy. Control D. Nope. Copy and paste, man. Copy and paste. So copy, paste, which works just fine. We're gonna scale this down now. Down now, Samba. And that works. And then I'm gonna take the rear one. Excuse me. We're gonna take that one. I'm gonna make this a different color. That's gonna be like the edge of the shield. Maybe he's got a color, or it could be gray, it could be whatever you want. I'm thinking maybe this should be more gray for now till we decide if he's got affiliations, colors, and cool. Can draw a couple of quick, easy lines across the front, like that. I don't want to get detailed with it, but you know what I'm saying. Let's just get some things up in there, and then I can. And I'm just doing this with a mouse. I can go ahead and fatten some of these up. Sorry to anyone who's fat. Let's just get that like that. It's been a day, folks. Just forgive me. Okay, like so. Yeah, that looks all right. His hand will be behind it if we're using that. There's no highlights or anything on him. I don't know, like I said, in what capacity he's going to be used yet. So I'm trying to just kind of keep simple with it for now. And with that, let's move the shield off of the sword layer. That would be good. We're going to grab all these points, cut them, and put them on their own layer. So Control X, and we're going to go to, I'm just going to go to the top layer here for now. We're going to put this as shield and paste these back on. And then we can, of course, as a layer with a center point here, we can move that over. Now we've got, well, at least his basic drawing. I'm going to now try to make a bone layer for him and joint him. So let's go ahead and group all of this together, except the sword and shield for now. Actually, we probably should do that. I can turn them off, and we can also put a bone in them instead of layer animating them. And let's go ahead and group that together. So group with selection. This is, I'm just going to call this night. We're going to right click, and we're going to convert it to a bone layer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of center this at his root. The shield has his own center, so does the sword. That's all good. The head, let's start planting some of these origin points out correctly, which I highly suggest that you do. There we go. The gauntlets. It's going to start putting little pins basically where the centers are for everything. Shoulder R2 must be the left shoulder. I should rename that right away. Shoulder L, because let me tell you what, man, when you get in here with the left and rights, you will completely get lost. Shoulder right, pow, arm upper right, or left, I should say there. That's going to be this dude. Arm upper right for real is this dude. Boot left. Yep, we've got a nice center on that one. Boot right, we do not yet. Buckle. And I'm going to test my theory, too, of how well these two-part shoes work. The torso, the whole thing, I'm going to stick right there. It's got some pieces in it. So the breastplate's going to go pretty much the same. The torso is just kind of like the upper part. Leg, pin right there. Leg right, same thing. The boot back is going to be right in the center of it. And the boot back right, same thing. Okay, so all of that is set up now. And we can go ahead back to our bone layer and start making bones. So with nothing selected, I'm going to click a bone here. I'm going to make a root bone. I'm just going to go like that. And then from here, I'm just going to give him 2 body bones just so we can get a little squash and stretch out of him. And his head's going to pretty much pivot from that point there. So back up, we're going to go from here. I'm not going to worry about body bones there. I'm just going to come down to here and fake that to here, and then our hand. So boom, boom, boom. So this will go from that to that to that. And then from this bone, I don't want to parent it to the root. I'm going to parent it. And you know what? I feel kind of stupid. I'm going to make a small bone right in the center here. And I'm going to see about scaling this bone up. I don't know that I can because it's a, what do you call it? Yeah, it's just a point bone, a pin bone or whatever. But I'm going to have to reparent it to stuff. So I'm going to select no parent. I'm going to select the main bone here. I'm going to parent that one to that root. And I'm going to parent the root bone, of course, to the root bone, the root of the whole figure. But this is like a pelvis bone, this little one here that I just created. So with that one still selected, now we can do our legs. I guess I'll give them 2 bones just for, being nice. And then we'll go back up to that one, and we're going to go from there to about knee level to here. And I'm going to give him a foot bone, just kind of like that. And parented to this bone, we'll give him another foot bone. And I don't think I need to create any other bones at this point. I'm going to select off of everything, and I'm going to create a bone for the sword. It's just going to be one bone that goes all the way through it. And I think, and then we'll click off of everything. And I'm going to give the shield probably just one also. I'm just going to go crossways with it just for, I'm not even sure why. Cool. So now we got to bind some of these. So all these bones right now have bone power. You'll see like so. I'm going to lessen that bone power by selecting all my bones at the same time. And I don't like using that bone strength, so I'm just going to take it all off. You don't really use it with a lot of things anyway, unless you're using like curvers or flexi binding, something like that, which I typically don't do unless I'm using a curver, which in that case I will. But right now we're going to layer bind some of these layers, like the shield is going to be layer bound to this bone, and the sword to this bone. As far as I know, the head can just be bound straight to this bone. There's no, anything special about that. I'm not going to layer bind the hands because I think they might have to have a little stretch. Flex actions. No, they're not, because these are going to be switched out. So with the hands, the gauntlet R2 needs to be called gauntlet L. Keep forgetting to change some of these. So gauntlet L here will be layer bound to this bone. Gauntlet R to this bone. And the upper shoulder and the forearm are going to get point bound to this other stuff, as are the torso and everything, the legs, I think the shoes, though, probably just going to layer bind them to the feet. So let's go ahead and do that. So boot is going to be bound to that. Boot R to that one. And then the boot backs are going to also be bound. So that's left, going to be bound to that. And that one's right, going to be bound to the same one there. Cool. So that's all the layer binding we need. And then I'm going to go up and do like this, the layer binding. Now we're going to do our point binding. So we need to select this bone right here. And this one's going to get, I think, the entire shoulder. We could have layer bound that shoulder to that bone now that I think about it. So let's go ahead and do that. So layer bind the shoulder. Let's get rid of this. We're going to select the, why am I selecting this bone? We're going to select the shoulder R and layer bind it to this guy. And shoulder L will be here. Okay, other things will be bound to those as well. I think we can, yeah, because that's just within its own layer. So we're good. So now the arm, and I called it upper arm, but it's the whole arm. We're going to actually point bind this. I'm going to have to add a few more points, though, just to make sure that we can do that. So that ought to be good. I'm going to add just a couple extra for the hands. I'm going to just check this other one here to make sure it's got enough. That needs at least one there. That should be, let's just add a couple here. We don't need any for the hands, actually. I just did that. We don't need it because we are doing those as layer bound. So now the arms, we need to do 2 bones for this. So real simple. That arm is like this. We select the bone, which we've got. Now we're going to select the points that attach to that particular bone. It's going to be these, and we bind the points. Done. Looks like we missed one. Bind points. So now I'm going to go and grab the next bone down. Bind those points. Yep, all of them to this here. And bind. We don't need to bind these. They're just going to float over the top. And then we're going to go to the other arm and grab the bones. So this one here is going to get this stuff. And we're going to bind those. And then the next bone will get the rest of them. Very simple when you have a very simple character. So let's just go ahead and do that. And I believe we're good to go. I want to make sure, though, that these get the right color. So bind. There we go. They didn't look like they had the right color. All right. And with that, the legs are what's left. Of course, the waist. Oh, and the body. Let's do the body first. So this is going to be shield, head, whatever. And we're going to go down till the torso. So we're going to take this breastplate, and it's going to be broken up across only the 2 bones. We're not going to worry about the head. It's going to float free. So we're going to take the upper bone here. We're going to bind these points, pretty much all of these, to that. And then we're going to take the next bone down and do the rest of them to that one. So this is a very simple character, so you guys know. I'm actually enjoying this because it's a lot less work than a lot of my characters have been. Cool. So that part of the body's done. We do need to do the torso, which we're not even seeing right now, but we still need to do it because eventually it will flash. So we're going to show that, and we're going to grab all of these except for the bottom row because I want those to stretch with the other half. So we're just going to bind those to that, and then this bone will be bound, like I said, to these points here. And then we can bind. Cool. All right. So now I think we got belt and legs. So let's do the belt. I don't want the belt to stretch with the legs. So we're probably just going to bind the whole belt to this bone right here and call that a day, because I don't believe in any way is it going to need to move on its own. I might be lying about that, but we'll see. So the buckle will be bound just to that bone or the pelvis. Let's do it to the pelvis bone. So we'll grab the bone, we'll grab the points and bind them. And now we're going to grab the belt, and I'm going to do it on the that backbone there. Not a particular reason, but I think it's going to be able to move differently. I just think it's a better idea for now. And if I have to rebind any of these, obviously we can. Not a biggie. Okay, so leg left. We're going to grab this bone, these points here. We really don't have enough points, so let's go ahead and add a few extras into this layer, because this will not conform, crumple, whatever properly without more points. We can get it really super simple, but I do want a little bit of bend in this. I wasn't going to do any, but I started thinking about it and said, well, he might need some. Okay, with that bone, let's grab the points now that we have added in here. And I'm going to do this because I kind of want that to be... now let's include that. I changed my mind like literally the whole time. All right, so bind all those, and then finally this last leg will just wiggle the bottom end of that leg. Is really all it's for, to show some movement. Bind those. Cool. Foot's going to be, it's already done. So now we just have the last leg, and that is it for all of the binding. So we're going to go here, add a couple of points just to make sure we have enough. That's probably okay. And now we'll grab our bone, then we'll grab our points like this. Bind them. Sis boom ba. Grab the other bone and bind those points. Doo-da, doo-da. Okay, there we are. You guys didn't tune in to hear me screech. Okay, so I think that is all of the bones bound. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have to go and do some corrective smart bone stuff here, but that may wait till tomorrow. I'm going to check now on our rig by going back up to our bone layer and just see that everything works. So there's the head. Yeah, the head. We got this and the sword, obviously. We have this arm. We have this bend, which obviously needs a smart bone correction here, but it does work. We have our little hand moving. So those are good to go. I'm just making sure all the points are actually connected. So the arms will need a couple smart bones. The body will definitely as well, but he does work. This is going to be like so. So we're going to have to pin the tops of the legs to the torso. The legs do work better than expected. Needs a little loop action. The shoes probably need to bind the tops of those shoe edges as well. But he's not bad. He's not bad at all. And then anytime we can kind of parent these bones to other things, like if we put the sword and shield, let's make him a righty instead of a lefty. Not that that matters. It's just what I'm used to. People right now are going to be like, hey, I don't care. So we're going to move this guy over. Whoops, not the bone, dude. Move the whole thing. So back here. This is bound, so I'm not sure why I'm not able to move it. Is this able to do this? It's probably going to change back when I go back to, yep. So I'm going to move the bone. Come on now. There we go. And then this bone to here. So now we're good. Now we can rotate from that point. And then now, let me just fix that. Oh, you Lord. All right, so once again, geez whiz, I'm going to move the bone. I'll probably have to move, yeah. I'm going to move that. I'm going to move this bone. Then we'll move the artwork, which is fun. So now the shield is going to get moved layer-wise over to the shield bone. And the sword, obviously, to the sword. So now when we move the bones on layer 1, they should move with our respective pieces, which they do. And if we need to rotate, we do have that for both pieces. And I might turn this bone, but you get the idea. So he does work. We'll worry about body turns and all that groovy stuff later, but the head turns, everything. And then we'll make up a new little game to stick him in, and either have him walking along fighting stuff, or have him being one of the bad guys that our heroes fighting, or whatever. We'll find out. Maybe we'll just have two different sides that fight each other, and come up with a way to command the armies, or who knows? Who knows? All right, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to go ahead and go for the night. Looks like we had about 20 viewers or so, which is pretty cool. Appreciate you guys stopping in. Do comment and all that, like, subscribe, and all the stuff, please, because it does help everything out. And I'll be talking to you guys soon in the next one. So have a good night.